There's one of the many preferred modes of transportation. On over to Wrigley Field. It's a nice night for Cubs baseball. WGN Sports on the U presents the Cubs hosting the Milwaukee Brewers. It's the first of a 4-game weekday series. And hi again, everyone. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. The first of 29 under the lights here in the friendly confines. Bob, the Brewers and Cubs met up a lot last year, and usually the home team won.
Yeah, it seems like a long time ago the Cub fans called Miller Park Wrigley Field North, because that certainly was not the case in the 2011 season. The Brewers went 8-1 at their home ballpark. Cubs were very good here at Wrigley, going 5-2. I think it's a byproduct, just the fact that the Brewers had a very good team last year. They won 96 games, 57 of those at home.
We've got a lot of interesting storylines going into this series. Dale Swaim against his old team, and Aramis Ramirez back at Wrigley Field, now as a member of the Brewers. Slow start last year, but then he had a very typical Aramis season.
A typical Aramis season, and by that we mean a lot of numbers. This guy was a cornerstone of the Cubs offensively for parts of 9 seasons. He's going to be asked to pick up some of the Prince Fielder slack in Milwaukee.
The Cubs' rotation was excellent over the weekend, even though they dropped 2 of 3 to the Nationals. Chris Volstead tries to continue that in what will be his Cubs debut.
They talk a lot about a change of scenery, and certainly Carlos Zambrano needed a change of scenery. Chris Volstead as well, pitching here at Wrigley Field, a ground ball pitcher with a heavy sinker.
Sean Markham throws everything but the kitchen sink. He doesn't throw very hard, but you see what he did on the road last year in his first year with the Brewers.
Yeah, Sean Markham, one of those guys that doesn't know exactly what he's going to use until he gets on that game mound. As you said, 5 different pitches at his disposal.
So Volstead for the Cubs, Markham for the Brewers. The Cubs played very good defense over the weekend. Alfonso Soriano with a few nice catches. A new third baseman, Ian Stewart, can really pick it at the hot corner. It's the Brewers and the Cubs next. Brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. The Illinois Lottery. Do you believe in the power of possibility? The Illinois Lottery. Anything's possible. And by Ford, manufacturers of more fuel-efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. Chicago Cubs baseball in beautiful high definition is brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. No ballpark in the majors looks better in HD than this one.
Today's game is available in Spanish on your SAP audio setting, provided by WRTO La Tremenda, Chicago's Spanish language sports leader. Hector Fabregas in his 4th season and joined by a new partner this year, Omar Ramos.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's Illinois Lottery Anything's Possible player. Jeff Samardzija, a man on a mission in spring training, said after the game, I been begging to be a starter. I didn't want to look like an idiot. I would say he didn't look like an idiot yesterday.
No, he made a lot of Nationals hitters look like idiots. Just really one mistake in the ball game. Tried to over-challenge Adam LaRoche. Gave up the 2-run homer. But other than that, he was fantastic in his first start of the 2012 season.
The Anything's Possible player brought to you by the Illinois Lottery, who each day make anything possible. You see the wind blowing as Murphy's congratulating Jeff on his victory, and they spelled his name right.
When you win ball games, they tend to get your name right.
Check in on the umpires. Assuming they all work in this series, each guy will get a shot at calling balls and strikes, which means it'll be right in the sights of Bob Brindley. It's Adrian Johnson tonight. And as windy as you see, northeast gusts up to 38 miles an hour. It's not terribly cold, but it is very windy right now, left to right.
Yeah, left-handed pull hitters, should they happen to get something up in the air with anything on it today, heads up on Sheffield or further to the east.
The Cubs will take the field behind 6'8" right-hander Chris Volstad for the first time. No Prince Fielder. Last year the Brewers finished 5th in the National League in runs. They led the league with 185. Fielder hit 38 of them. Weeks, Morgan, Braun. Aramis Ramirez cleans up. Hart with 3 homers already. Matt Gamble replaces Fielder at first. The veteran Alex Gonzalez is at short. Jonathan Lucroy the catcher, and Sean Markham the pitcher.
And let's check out how the Cubs take the field defensively tonight behind Chris Volstad. Brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Soriano, Bird, and DeJesus once again left to right across the outfield. Ian Stewart, Starlin Castro make up the left side of the infield defense, while Darwin Barney and Brian LaHare will man the right side. Giovanni Soto behind the dish tonight for a big, tall drink of water, Chris Volstad.
Well, I mentioned he's 6'8". We're trying to think of a taller Cub throughout the years. And if you can think of a Cub who is taller than this guy, we certainly love to hear from you tonight. You can email us at LennonBob@Tribune.com. We're on Facebook and Twitter as well. This guy likes his sinking fastball, Bob. They've tried to incorporate a 4-seamer just to change the eye level, but he'll try to get ground balls.
It seems so odd. A guy 6'8" really needs to keep the ball down. That's when he's at his best, throwing that sinker down low in the zone. As you mentioned, the 4-seamer, a pitch that will help him get inside on lefties and occasionally elevate a fastball when he's ahead in the count. But when he's good, you should see a lot of ground balls. The infield defense should be busy.
He will be the 1,900th player to appear for the Chicago Cubs.
I've got it, Len. Tony Campana standing on Augie Ojeda's shoulders.
Are they 6'8" combined?
I think.
Here's Ricky Weeks to lead it off. Brewers are a familiar bunch to us. Not too many changes. Their most significant is pretty obvious. Prince Fielder gone, but their starting rotation intact. Their bullpen, by and large, is back. They lost 2 of 3 over the weekend at home versus St. Louis. You see, Volstad likes to work fast. He's from South Florida, but I talked to him yesterday. He says, I don't like wearing long sleeves. So he might be a little cold, but I think once the game starts, he's fine. From Palm Beach Gardens. And what a job Ron Renicky did last year. If it weren't for Kirk Gibson, he would have been everybody's choice for the manager of the year in the National League, as they won a franchise record 96 games and got all the way to the NLCS.
I think more than anything else, Ron Renicky brought a little bit of order to what was a very good Brewer team, but they just didn't seem to have the focus on the field every night necessary to win ball games. A lot of goofing and clowning, and Ron Renicky likes to have a good time as much as the next guy, but when you're out here for 2.5 or 3 hours every night, he expects your full focus to be on the game.
Swing and a miss, got him on a fastball for the first out.
Good start to his Cubs career for Chris Volstad. Had a pretty good spring training until his last start. Got banged around pretty good in that game against the San Diego Padres. Gave up 9 hits and 6 runs in just 4 2/3 innings, but off to a good start here tonight.
Signed to Niger Morgan, aka Tony Plush. Got jammed, and that'll be foul.
Even Tony Plush has been quiet in the early going this year. Didn't hear much from him in spring training down in Maryvale.
Well, we are getting a lot of responses on our tallest Cub. Julio Zaletta, who's 6'6". Kyle Farnsworth 6'4", I believe. Derek Lee 6'5". Bob Scanlon 6'7", but we haven't located anybody yet in the record book taller than 6'8" Chris Volstad. There's a base hit for Morgan. His first of the season. Not a big surprise, Ryan Braun being booed in his first road game in the regular season after quite an eventful offseason. Handed a 50-game suspension for a positive performance-enhancing drug test after winning the MVP in the National League. He appealed and he won his case. And while I do think, Bob, if everything kind of goes the way it did last year for this club, they still can be very successful without Prince Fielder. However, if Braun had been forced to sit out the first 1/3 of the year, that might have been too much to overcome, losing 2 of your middle of the order guys, your 2 best hitters.
Or for whatever reason he doesn't reach the same offensive levels that he has in the past. That's going to be a big chunk of the Brewers offense, no question about it.
Bounced foul.
Now, regardless of how you feel about the Ryan Braun situation and supposed mishandling of his sample that subsequently tested positive, he appealed on a technicality and was granted a stay of execution, so to speak. Well, one thing that will do is tighten up the drug testing in Major League Baseball even further. Every time there's a loophole discovered, you can be pretty sure that Bud Selig and the rest of those involved back in the offices in New York will find a way to close those loopholes.
I followed it pretty closely based on everything I read. I mean, he appealed and I think won legitimately based on how the testing process should have gone. As far as what actually did happen, I don't think we'll ever know for sure. But it doesn't really matter in terms of the baseball stuff because he's in the batter's box. Morgan not running and Braun way out in front. Pulls it foul.
Morgan will run. He stole 13 bases in 17 attempts last year. Thinking back to last season, Ron Renicky, when Braun or Fielder were at the plate, he wanted his two big boys to swing the bat without distraction. So Morgan may be there for the remainder of this at bat at least.
Going outside on a slider. Long pause, big leg kick, and Braun muscles that one out in the left. It's trouble. It gets down. Morgan on his way to third. Throw there is going to be late. And it's a double for Ryan Braun.
Batting next, third baseman number 16, Aramis Ramirez.
Very little reaction either way.
I'm a little surprised. Much louder reaction for Ryan Braun. In general, we knew the Boo Birds would be out for Braun. As Ramirez is in an RBI spot, and he drills it foul.
I mean, that really is odd to me, Len. I thought we'd see more of a reaction, especially on the positive side for what Ramirez did in his time here in Chicago. I mean, for crying out loud, Mike Fontenot and Ryan Theriot got bigger hands when they came back, and they didn't do nearly what Aramis Ramirez did in his time here in Chicago.
Yeah, I agree. It's low and outside. You know, we've talked about it with Derek Lee, and even when Carlos Zambrano comes back. And of course, Carlos left under much different circumstances than any of those other guys. This is not deep. Now Morgan's going to tag. DeJesus makes a catch, and Morgan's going to head to the plate. The throw there. Save. Very close. The high bounce cost him, though. And Morgan just got in underneath the tag of Soto. 1-0 on a sac fly.
Somewhat of a dangerous send by Ed Cedar to the third base coach. DeJesus gets rid of it in good shape. Just a big hop. You see, Soto had to come up to field that throw. Normally that ball will stay down around waist level where you can apply a tag easily, but when he had to come up to field the high bounce, gave Nyjer Morgan enough room to get in underneath the tag.
Now Corey Hart, as it's 1-0 Milwaukee. Hart already has 3 home runs. He hit 2 on Saturday, added another one yesterday. We didn't even know if he'd be in the lineup by now after knee surgery. On March 6th, he only played in 2 Major League spring training games. The last 2 of spring training, he played in some minor league games before that. He was in the opening day lineup, which he admitted it was a surprise just a month after his surgery. That hit the knob of the bat? Apparently so. That hit the bottom of the bat. Yeah, sure did.
Just grazed it, and as usual, it grazes the hitter and absolutely smokes the catcher. And that's when you're most exposed to. You're reaching up and in to catch that pitch. Under your body. Fortunately, you've got the mask and chest protector on, but still, when you're not expecting that contact, it catches you by surprise.
Hart missed all of spring training last year with a sprained oblique. He's had bad luck in spring training. This year, not only did he have the knee problem, but he also took about 6 stitches in his head after a weight room mishap. He was doing that pull down machine thing and he conked his noggin. Swing and a miss. Volstad with a couple of strikeouts, but the Brewers get a run. The Cubs are coming up against Sean Markham. Against his old team, brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. DeJesus leads it off. He's still looking for his first hit off Sean Markham. We'll tell you about that in a second. Barney, Castro, Soriano 2 through 4. You've got Stewart at third, LaHair at first, 2 doubles yesterday. Soto catches, Bird hitting 8th with Volstad 9th.
Quick look at the Brewers defensively here tonight. Ryan Braun in left, Niger Morgan in center, Corey Hart over in right field. It'll be Ramirez, Gonzalez, Weeks, and Gamble third to first across the infield. Jonathan Lucroy doing the catching tonight for veteran right-hander Sean Markham. 13-game winner last season for the Brew Crew. Just over 200 innings of work, only surrendered 175 base hits. He'll throw a little bit of everything. Fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, cutter. He'll sink it, he'll cut it, he'll make up pitches out there on the mound as he sees fit.
Probably won't go terribly deep into this game. He only made 2 official spring training starts, even though he did pitch in a couple of minor league games. But official Cactus League outings, only 7 1/3 innings because of the shoulder issues. David DeJesus is 0 for 16 in his career against Sean Markham. But having said that, he has faced him more than any other Cub in the lineup. And that's what Ryan Braun is going to be greeted with for 81 games this year.
A number of signs out in the left field bleachers. The bleacher bums really let him have it as he took his position defensively here for the bottom of the first.
Markham was born in Kansas City, former Blue Jay.
For my money, that's his best pitch right there. His fastball's good when he has good command of it, but that straight changeup with that kind of downward movement, rarely do hitters square that pitch up. And not only the off-speed pitch at 82, but look at that movement at the very tail end. His catcher's going down to block the ball in the dirt. DeJesus just gets a piece of it to stay alive.
Takes that pitch low. David and all of his outfield mates were taking fly balls out of the, I guess we'll call it the fly ball machine, manned by Dave McKay around 3 o'clock today as he swings and misses on a fastball at just 87.
Pitch in the big leagues up there around the letters at 87 if you set it up with some off-speed pitches before that. Threw an 82-mile-an-hour changeup, came back with an 80-mile-an-hour changeup, both right out of his fastball arm slot, and then that 87-mile-an-hour heater looked like 100 miles an hour for strike 3.
Here's Darwin Barney, who got into the lineup yesterday because Blake DeWitt was scratched due to back spasms. He's better today, and Blake is available off the bench. And deep to left, Darwin Barney. Gone! The first Cub home run of the year comes from Darwin Barney, and it's tied at 1. The third of his career.
Boy, it was a laser beam too, Len, and it had to be to left field. That wind blowing from the left field corner toward the right field corner. Barney hits this line drive, keeps it underneath the wind, and just does tuck it into the basket up there in left field. Nice going. Darwin Barney's leading the club in homers.
I didn't even get a chance to mention that Cubs had been homerless over the weekend as Castro bounces out to Ricky Weeks. The AAA Iowa Cubs yesterday got their first homer of the season. They were the last club in the Pacific Coast League to hit their first home run, and it was Anthony Rizzo. Speaking of that minor league report, Tony Campana with 3 hits. Brett Jackson with a game-ending RBI double as they beat Round Rock 6-5. Pitch to Soriano, catches the outside corner, according to Adrian Johnson. 2 4-game series here between these teams this season. 3 3-game sets in Milwaukee. Swaim was a very popular guy in the pregame. Brewers television did a long sit-down interview with him. A lot of the Milwaukee reporters wanted to talk to him about how weird it feels to face his original organization. First-round pick back in '82, played for the Brewers from '86 to '91, and later a member of their coaching staff. 12-game stint as their manager at the end of '08. And someone asked him, did you take a look at the scouting report and add anything to it in this series? He said, well, I did most of it.
Why not? Who knows this Brewers club, especially the offensive part of it, better than he does?
He admitted, he said, it should be an advantage in terms of me knowing them, but you still have to execute the game plan.
Very good point. You think about it, you got Dale Swaim, who worked with all the Brewers hitters. You got Chris Bosio, who worked with, I'm sure, most of these Brewers pitchers. You got Dave McKay, who was the first base coach for the Cardinals. They have a pretty good grip on the National League Central this year, at least as far as the advanced scouting goes.
Jamie Quirk from Houston. It's Chris Bosio, the former Brewer. And a pop up on the infield. And it'll be caught by the first baseman Gamble right on the back of the mound. Darwin Barney with the Cubs' first homer of the season. It's 1-1. New area in Chicago sports, the all-inclusive Budweiser patios now open here at Wrigley Field. For more information and to purchase tickets for the 2012 Cubs season, call 773-404-4200 or visit Cubs.com/premier. A nice spot right now. Still a little sunshine hitting that area of the ballpark. Darwin Barney with the Cubs' first homer of the season in the fourth game. Here's Matt Gamble. Rather big shoes to fill. Gamble drafted as a third baseman. He didn't start playing first regularly in the minors until last year. 2-1.
He's been a good offensive player in the Brewers minor league system, a career .304 hitter, including a .310 season last year at AAA Nashville with 28 homers, 96 driven in. He scored 90 runs. See how that translates to the major league level.
Chris Volstad brought over for Carlos Zambrano. And Cash back on January 5th. Bird has it on the warning track for the first out. I don't know if it was by design. It was a baseball trade, but in terms of demeanor, you couldn't find two more opposite guys than Carlos Zambrano and Chris Volstad. Chris is as quiet as they come.
It's hard to believe about a guy 6'8", but there's times you don't even know he's in the room. I mean, he can be talkative, but he just chooses right now to kind of blend in and be part of the team rather than set himself apart from his teammates.
A real underrated pickup in the offseason was the Brewers signing Alex Gonzalez to play short. A fantastic defender. I think he'll make Ricky Weeks better. Alex is the best defensive shortstop Weeks will have played with. And he's got a little pop too.
Yes, he does. We know for a fact he's going to have to cover a lot of ground on that left side.
And he lines one into center. I was standing with Aramis and Alex around the batting cage in spring training, and I did say to Aramis, I looked at Aramis and I pointed at Alex and said, Alex, you got to catch all the pop-ups. And Aramis said, yep. So it was established early.
Some things don't need to be said. Well, the kind of funny thing about it, Gonzalez was traded from Toronto to Atlanta along with a guy named Tyler Pasternicki. So Gonzalez filled the position for a couple of years there in Atlanta, and now the other part of the trade, Tyler Pasternicki, was their opening day starter at shortstop for the Braves. So not only did they plug the hole for a couple of years with a very solid established veteran, but gave him a couple of years to groom their shortstop of the future. And they traded away a pretty good shortstop in Yunel Escobar to get those two guys.
One and one on the catcher, Lucroy. Jonathan signed a 5-year extension in late March. Hitting in the 8th spot right in front of Sean Markham.
Lucroy carried his weight offensively last year, hit .265 with 12 home runs. But I'll tell you what, Len, the more you watch this guy behind the plate, the more you like him. He is very still behind the plate, gives a good, solid, low target, not a lot of wasted excess movement. Pitchers love it, umpires love it. Apparently the Brewers front office loves it too, giving him that 5-year extension in spring training.
Gonzalez at first with 1 out. It's still 2-2 on Lucroy. An interesting look at Ed Cedar over in the third base coach's box.
I was looking on the other side of the field there, Len, looking at Brian LaHare. This is the first opportunity he's had to look into that sunshine. Get out of the way, Ed. I don't know if you've seen any games or been to Wrigley Field, as that sun goes down in the west, it kind of peeks through the third base side of the stadium, and first basemen have had all kinds of trouble in the past on pickoff attempts. That's what we're talking about right there. That's pretty much the view that a first baseman has looking toward the mound.
Foul tip is Soto able to hang on to it, and Volstad gets his 3rd strikeout.
Well, that's a perfect location right there. We talked about at the top of the show. If he can start that sinking fastball right around knee level and let it bottom out the way that one did, going to get a lot of swings and misses and a lot of easy ground balls. And you need to make good pitches to this guy too. He can swing the bat a little bit.
Markham hit a home run last year, knocked in 6. It's under 1 to left, and this will do it as Soriano makes the catch. A hit, no runs. 1-1 midway in the 2nd.
Corner, presented by Wintrust Community Banks. The first Cubs Corner event of the season is Tuesday, April 10th at Wildfire in downtown Chicago. Join General Manager Jed Hoyer and a Cubs starting pitcher to be announced for a live WGN radio broadcast and enjoy a great three-course lunch, all for just $55. Tickets are still available at WGNradio.com/events.
1-1, the Brewers got their run on an Aramis Ramirez sacrifice fly. The Cubs on a Darwin Barney home run into the basket and left. And some afternoon action around baseball with some home openers. The Rockies were shut out by the Giants, who got their first win. Barry Zito, in a 7-0 Giants win, picked up his first complete game. And his first shutout, I should say, since 2003. 7-0 Giants.
What's more shocking, that Barry Zito pitched a shutout, or the Giants scored 7 runs?
They got swept over the weekend in Arizona as Ian Stewart pops it foul, the former Rocky. And if Brian Wilson were a Cub. What's funny is the actual Brian Wilson looks weirder than the non-Brian Wilson.
On the right looks natural.
Yeah.
That's some bad moss.
Backhanded play by Weeks as they overshifted against Stewart.
We've talked a lot about the Cubs positioning defensively on the infield. The Brewers with the exaggerated pull shift, and Stewart hits it right to Ricky Weeks, who was cheating over in the hole and a little bit deeper than normal. Hey, those spray charts don't lie, especially if you've been around the league for any amount of time. You've faced an opposing pitching staff a number of times. Certain tendencies start to reveal themselves, and it's why you put guys where you put them on the field. Another pull shift.
Swing and a miss by LaHare. First start of the year yesterday after dealing with some back issues. Those 2 hits you see were doubles. And the red line heading through. Good changeup. 0-2.
Such good arm action on this changeup. That's always what sells it. If you can make that hitter believe you're throwing a fastball, he sees the rotation on the pitch, reads fastball, and that pitch floats up there 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 miles per hour slower than your fastball. That's when you're going to get a lot of very awkward looking swings and misses like we saw from Brian LaHare.
Just outside.
Believe it or not, Len, there are pitchers out there who will tip their changeup, either by digging for the grip in the glove. Their windup may be a little bit slower when they're going to throw a changeup to give them time to find that changeup grip. They just do something different in their delivery that lets you know. Sometimes guys just actually slow down. As they stride forward toward home plate, it's a lot slower than on their other pitches. But Markham makes that changeup look exactly like his fastball.
LaHare high and deep to right. How far will it go? Hello, Sheffield. Using the wind to his advantage. It was a mammoth shot for Brian LaHare.
Well, that's one way to beat a defensive shift. Just hit it over everybody. Wow. That's where the big guys hit him out there. Well, you can see that pitch was supposed to be on the outside corner at the knees. It's straight over the inside part of the plate, and Brian LaHare punished it. It's not off often you see the fans sitting on the rooftops get out of their seats when a home run ball is headed their way.
Well, LaHare had quite a year last year. He hit an Iowa record 38 home runs. That led the minors. He hit 2 with the Cubs late. Then he went down to Venezuela, hit 15 in 47 games. I'm not very good at math, but I know 55 home runs is a pretty good year.
Yeah, that's good.
Swing and a miss, and Soto is out. Oh, look, LaHare didn't hit one in spring training, did he?
I don't remember it.
I don't think he did. And you know what? It doesn't matter now.
Nope. To be honest with you, early in camp, Brian LaHare didn't hit much of anything. He really struggled in the early going in the Cactus League, but started to come around as we neared opening day.
Marlon Byrd is in the 8th spot today. Nice missed on a slider. Cubs without a homer versus Washington. They've hit 2 in 2 innings tonight. Barney and LaHare. On the ground to Gonzalez. And the inning continues. Well, we were singing Alex Gonzalez's praises as a defensive shortstop, and he just committed a throwing error on a pretty routine play.
Well, it happens to the best of them. That's about as routine as it gets. Just fired a sinker over there to Matt Gamble, who couldn't hang on. Well, he had a little more time than he realized right there. He threw that ball awfully quick to first base. Apparently did not have a good grip.
Chris Volstad swings and misses.
That's significant, Len. You know, I say it all the time. Getting the pitcher out of the way here in this inning. Because of the error by Gonzalez at shortstop, now Volstad will bat with 2 outs and a man at first base. And even if he makes an out, you feel pretty good with the top of your order coming to the plate in the 3rd inning.
Chris with 6 extra base hits in his career, all doubles. Well, just having Markham throw extra pitches tonight is a good thing, because again, he's not going to go much beyond probably 90 pitches after a short spring. Shattered bat, and Gonzalez will have another chance, and this time he fires a strike to Gamble. Brian LaHare gives somebody out on Sheffield a nice souvenir on this Monday night. Cubs lead 2-1. corner, which will be tomorrow at Wildfire. And Jed Hoyer, the general manager, will be joined by Chris Volstead. So make sure you head on out.
That would have been my guess. The guy that pitched the night before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that has been confirmed. Brian LaHare. A booming home run onto Sheffield to make it 2-1. As the Brewers will send the top three in their order up against Chris Volstead. Volstead has had good success against Milwaukee. In terms of his ERA, 4 previous starts, a 1.71 ERA, just a 1-1 record. And Weeks turns on one. That ball's hooking. It is gone just inside the pole. How did he keep that fair? Wow.
That was a fast homer.
When we go to Miller Park and we watch early batting practice, nobody hits the ball harder than Ricky Weeks. I don't know if I've ever seen a homer like that in this ballpark. Did it get 15 feet off the ground?
Not much more than that. I'm telling you. Tailing fastball inside part of the plate. He just buggy whips it straight down that left field line. May have gotten an assist from that wind blowing from left to right to help keep it fair, but about 2 rows deep just inside the foul pole.
So just like that, it's 2-2.
With that kind of power, I mean, we talked about this the last couple of years with Ricky Weeks hitting in that leadoff spot. Would he be better suited hitting down in the lineup where he might drive in a few more runs over the course of the year? And with Prince Fielder gone now, I don't think it's totally out of the question that he may work his way down into the middle of the lineup at some point in the future. But boy, talk about instant offense from that leadoff spot.
It is nice to know he's always a threat there as Morgan fans.
Hey, Cub fans, if you want to manage a game along with Dale Swain, log on to WGNTV.com right now and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you're watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio sets, place sets, hot tubs, and more.
Brian Braun hearing it again. Doubled his first time up. Chris Volsted's trying to end a streak of 11 consecutive starts without a win. He didn't get much run support from his Marlins teammates during that 2.5-month period to end the season. He had a 4.04 ERA but took 5 losses and had 6 no decisions. So he's trying to win for the first time since July 10th of last year. Inside to Braun. So more numbers on Chris Volstad. You see that lack of run support. He got it 2 years ago, didn't last year. Ball 4.
The outside corner is closed tonight.
There's a Ramos for the second time. Knocked in a run with a sacrifice fly in the first. Showed you in the open, but it bears repeating in terms of his place on the Cubs all-time home run list. 239. That places him 6th. You've got Sosa, Banks, Williams, Santos, Sandberg, and Ramirez. He's played the 5th most games all time in the National League Central. And he's also, as a third baseman, tied for 8th with former Cub Ron Cey with 312 homers as a third baseman. You're wondering who hit the most homers as a third baseman. Mike Schmidt, 509.
First pitch change up there from Volstad. I tell you, if Aramis Ramirez gets a hittable fastball first pitch of any at bat in this series, there ought to be an investigation. Cub fans well aware of his propensity for swinging at that first pitch close to the strike zone. And we mentioned the number of games that Aramis has played in the Central Division. He was 5th on the all-time list. Maybe wonder about the first 4. 3 Astros on the list. Craig Biggio leads the way, followed by Lance Berkman, Albert Pujols, Jeff Bagwell, and then Aramis Ramirez for the most career games played in the Central Division.
That is a second pitch tonight that's hit the knob of the bat. Braun with a pretty decent lead at first, not running as that pitch is in the dirt. And a slider 1-2. And he got him.
Good hard slider that time. You see where Giovanni Soto sets up? That's exactly where Chris Volstad delivers that pitch. Started it right on the outside corner, gave the appearance of a strike, and then disappeared.
Just look at Chris Volstad's earned run average and some of the basic stuff. A career 4.59 ERA, and pitched half his games in a pretty good pitcher's park. You may not think he has the potential to be a top of the rotation guy, but his peripheral numbers, some of the other inside the numbers stats, have looked a little better than his ERA, indicating as Braun takes off, he's going to get in with a steal. That Volstad might be a bit undervalued, and that really does fit the profile of the type of pitchers the Cubs have been looking for. Paul Maholm might be another one of those guys, and we'll see him tomorrow night.
As you can imagine, for a guy 6'8", it takes a little while to unwind with runners on base and deliver that ball to home plate. Ryan Braun, a very accomplished base stealer, able to take that one with 2 outs.
A lot of sliders here in this third inning. 2-1 on Corey Hart. Three and one now. That's ball 4, Corey. They're making Volstad work. Well, yesterday, about an hour into the game, we were in like the 8th inning. Samardzija and Zimmerman getting quick outs.
A couple of strike throwing machines yesterday. That was fun to watch.
Crack bat pop up. And Castro, the man on the spot, as the Cubs overshifted. Weeks led off the inning with a laser beam homer. It's 2-2.
Baseball season on WGN TV is brought to you by Bud Light. It's a sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Game 4, 162. Ricky Weeks with a game-tying line shot home run. David DeJesus trying to figure out Sean Markham, against whom he's gone 0 for 17 lifetime. I asked David, I said, do you know your numbers against him? He said, no. I said, well, how do you feel against him? I didn't tell him what his numbers are. I think, like most pitchers, as DeJesus lifts it in the air, Morgan will get it. David's looking for the first good fastball to hit in his zone, but Markham tries to stay out of that area.
Yeah, occasionally those numbers can be deceiving. You might line out 9 times and hit 6 hard ground balls and maybe only strike out 3 times. You really have to look a little deeper than just the numbers themselves, but after a while a trend starts to develop and it gets between your ears more so than in your bat.
I also asked DeJesus if there's a guy he has kind of relied on to learn some of the National League pitchers he's unfamiliar with, and he said, I prefer a left-handed hitter. And really the only guy on the roster that fits that mold is Ian Stewart. Barney pops up. And Ramirez makes the catch. And the other guys he mentioned, Bob, he said he'll look at video of pitchers against Juan Pierre and guys like that. David has a little more home run pop than Juan Pierre, but he kind of looks at himself in that vein in the leadoff area.
And speaking in generalities, usually a leadoff hitter, especially a left-handed leadoff hitter, you're going to throw them fastballs up and out over the plate and see how far they can hit it to the opposite field. If they don't have enough power to beat you to the opposite field with any kind of regularity, that's what you're going to see a lot. Fastballs up and out over the plate. Try to get David DeJesus or Juan Pierre or a Brett Butler back in my playing days. You get those guys to hit the ball in the air. Tony Campana, you're probably going to get them out more often than not. The key is, if you're a hitter, is to lay off of that pitch, get something that you can hit on the ground, preferably to your pull field.
Niger Morgan would fit that mold.
Yep.
too many teams Starlin Castro doesn't hit, but in particular, he likes hitting against this club at home. Almost 500. It is kind of funny, though. I mean, he's a good hitter. Sure, if we showed you Tony Gwynn's splits against all the different National League franchises, there'd be some pretty good numbers.
Yeah.
He's just good.
It's hits against everybody. It doesn't make any difference what color that uniform is on the mound on a given night. He's going to do what he does. That's put the bat on the ball. Doesn't matter if it's a fastball pitcher, a finesse pitcher, righty, lefty, tall, short, you name it. He's just going to put the bat on the ball, take his chances.
Punched on the ground to first. And Gamble plays well off the line, able to beat Castro to the base. Cubs go down 1-2-3 for the first time.
Stay tuned for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Captain Morgan. Raise your glass, always in moderation, to life, love, and loot.
Randy Hundley coming up later. Getting all the catchers, it's good. Jody Davis, Keith Moreland, Randy Hundley. Did you put out a memo? Only former catchers?
We're going to have only catchers this year.
Right. Gonzalez squaring and then taking ball one.
You got to get the catchers early in the season because later they won't be able to make it up the ramp. Right. You got to get them while they're still somewhat healthy. You can see some green on the ivy on the outfield walls here at Wrigley much earlier than we're used to seeing it, and also some of the balls in batting practice today got gobbled up by those vines.
Fly ball hit well to deep right, and DeJesus is going to have to play it off the 368 marker. Gonzalez is 2 for 2.
Fortunately, he didn't get too much air underneath that ball. If it was hit a little bit higher, it might have snuck out of here. It short hops the wall out there at the 368 mark as it is. Actually hit the wall first. DeJesus plays the carom perfectly to hold Gonzalez to a leadoff double.
Oh, man. Well, you hate to see that.
Brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it? Man. Oh. That's a sad, sad picture. There's half a cup of warm beer next to it. It'd just be the worst.
Warm beer and cold pizza. Well, we posed this question in the first inning. Is Chris Volstad the tallest Cub ever? Been a lot of interesting responses. We have determined by, ultimately we just ask Ed Hardig, because Ed knows everything about Cubs history. He's at least tied as far as we know. Up the middle, backhanded by Barney, throw to LaHair, he gets LaCroix. Oh, what a play. Darwin Barney cut that ball off and had time to get the catcher running and may have saved a run.
He makes that play up the middle of the field about as good as anybody. You can see he was actually backpedaling into his position, had to stop and go right back to the place that he was. It's plenty on that throw. They get LaCroix by a couple of steps over there at first base. That looked like a base hit into center field and possibly another Brewer run, but denied for the time being.
And that's significant because it's the pitcher here with one out. The infield comes in. Squeeze play, the suicide squeeze, it's going to work. Sean Markham gets it done. It's the do or die play as Gonzalez took off with the pitch.
Well, you can't execute it any better than Sean Markham and Alex Gonzalez just did. Gonzalez does not break too early. Volstad is committed to the pitch to home plate. It's close enough that Markham can get a bat on it. And I guarantee you, Dale Swaim, the thought crossed his mind. He knows Ron Renneke as well as anybody after sitting at his right hand over there on the Brewers bench as the hitting coach. I'm sure it crossed his mind, but it's one of those, well, he thinks that I think that he thinks that I think that he's going to squeeze, so he's probably not going to. And Ron Renneke threw a monkey wrench into all of it by squeezing on the first pitch.
So 3-2 Brewers.
Caught me surprised by too, Len, only because Sean Markham does swing the bat so well for a pitcher. And with the infield playing in, I thought he was going to swing away and try to drive one through the drawn-in infield, but he fooled me too.
He talked about Roger Craig doing it after a triple, some big play. Well, Barney made the great defensive play, had a little commotion, and they do it on the next pitch.
Try to take advantage of confusion. That's usually the best time to pull that squeeze play. So there's been a cutoff and relay, or as you said, a triple. The ball's been thrown around the field. Runners going everywhere. The fans are yelling and screaming. The bat boys out there picking up the bat. Everything's just happening at the same time. That's usually a good time to put on a squeeze play.
Full count, 3-2 on Weeks. Bases empty. A run in. Yeah, Ed Hardig said the Cubs 1993 media guide had Bob Scanlon grow 1 inch, went from 6'7" to 6'8". Up in the air, and this should end the inning as Soriano makes a catch. Brewers get the lead on a suicide squeeze, 3-2.
WGN tomorrow night versus the Knicks. Be sure to tune in at 8 o'clock for the Bullseye, followed by tip-off at 8:30.
Alex Gonzalez is 2 for 2. He doubled to start the inning and then scored on the successful suicide squeeze bunt by Sean Markham, who had one official at bat in spring training.
Who needs spring training? Corey Hart didn't have much the last 2 years in a row. Markham had one at bat this spring. He's already got an RBI.
The Brewers have their second lead of the night. Cubs have led once. Yu Darvish making his big league debut for the Rangers, and it has not gone well early. Mariners with 2 in the top of the first, and they're still batting. Soriano couldn't keep that big bat back on his shoulder.
Good take that time by Fonzie. That's a pitch that we've seen him chase many, many times. That slider low and away just off of the corner.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
We know the Cubs like to overshift defensively on the infield. If the spray charts and if the history tells you that a player is likely to hit a ball into that shift, the Brewers are as active as any team we've seen in a long time with their infield defense as well.
Well, it's not terribly surprising that some of the things the Brewers do, the Cubs do, considering Dale Swaim is now here. We got an email, and it's actually a really good thing to mention, because one of those subtle changes here in the ballpark this year is actually in the Cubs dugout, and I didn't notice it until game 2. The bat rack is not actually in the dugout anymore. And we've seen some Cubs go down the tunnel, actually all of them, after they take their at bat. There's a reason for that. The bat rack is off to the left.
Yeah, it used to be right there on the right side of your screen where there's a bench now. There used to be a bat rack and a helmet rack.
Diving catch, Ricky Weeks. The shift worked against Stewart, who lined right into it.
I noticed that the Cubs had put a bat rack in the tunnel leading up to the dugout, but I guess I never really noticed that the one was gone from the dugout. Can't hit it much harder than that. Once again, Ricky Weeks positioned perfectly, a step or two to his right and a dive.
So there's a little extra bench space right behind Marlon Byrd. Alfonso Soriano last year would have been sitting in the bat rack.
Yeah.
So now you know. Brian LaHare crushed one to right for his first homer of the season back in the second. Well, there was a time when we would say if the Cubs don't hit home runs, they don't score, but I don't think this team is really built like that now.
I think they'll get their share of home runs, but they're certainly not a ball club that's going to outslug the opposition on any kind of a regular basis.
Thanks to Dan Knutson, who sent us that email question about the tunnel as LaHare chased a bad one. And the Cubs go down in order once again. They trail 3-2. TV.com. The blog brought to you by Jeff Vukovich, nationwide agent serving the area for 33 years for your auto, home, and business insurance needs. Contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. I have some thoughts on Jeff Samardzij's gem yesterday. Our podcast is available. First one of the year. Keith Moreland, Bill Murray sing The Stretch at WGNTV.com. 1-1 count on Niger Morgan. A huge part of their success last year. And Barney will shovel toss to LaHare for the out.
Fifth inning is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, the Curious Bank, member FDIC.
I was curious if the reaction to Ryan Braun when he comes up the second, third, fourth time in a game on the road, if the reaction would change. It really hasn't.
Well, the feeling is more beverages are consumed during the course of a game, it may actually get louder.
Led the league in slugging, extra base hits, and OPS last year, winning the MVP. Swain was asked about, well, with Prince Fielder not there, will it affect Ryan Braun's numbers? And I thought Dale gave a great answer. He said, you would think so, but a lot of guys at the end of the year you look at and you go, he had the same year he had last year. Sometimes, Bob, great hitters are great hitters. Barry Bonds had some protection at times in San Francisco. Other years he didn't. And he still put up monster seasons. This, by the way, is what Dale said will help him. He has a much better eye than he used to. He walked in the 3rd inning, and he now has a 3-1 count in his 3rd at bat. They stole your outfield. Slider to make it 3-2.
And another thing you get as the reigning MVP in the National League is borderline check swing calls tend to go your way instead of against you. Whether it's right or wrong, no umpire will ever admit to it, but I don't think Barry Bonds ever had a check swing called on him.
Called strike 3 on the outside edge.
It's Chris Volstad's stinker in the outside corner, tailing back over the white part of the plate for a called strike 3. Nice pitch. And you talk about protection in a lineup, and for some hitters it really doesn't make any difference, but I really believe if Aramis Ramirez does what he usually does, Ryan Braun will probably put up even better numbers than he did last year.
The Jesus backing up as that wind pushing it back toward the warning track, and Volstad spins his first 1-2-3 tonight. Coming over from Japan, the first inning didn't go well. Gave up 4 runs. Over in the East, how about the Red Sox and Yankees? Both 0-3. First time since 1966 that is the case. And who'd have thought? The Orioles and Mets are both 3-0 as we focus in on starting pitching. The Orioles and the Astros lead the way. How about that?
Focus in on the graphic, please. Jeez. Well, no surprise the Phillies were on that list, but I think everybody else would be a little surprised of the other 4 teams that have started the season with a real good team ERA.
Giovanni Soto with a fly ball to center. Nyjer Morgan has no idea where it is, and it lands behind him. Soto's going to round second. On his way to third as Ryan Braun keeps it from an inside the park home run. Morgan lost it in the twilight, and that'll be a triple.
Even Tony Plush couldn't help him with this one. A sky shot to straightaway center field. It's that time of night here at Wrigley. The sky is just kind of gray once that ball gets up above the lights. Morgan has no idea where it is. Ryan Braun hustles over from his left field position to back the play up, as you said, to keep Giovanni Soto from his second inside the park home run.
He hit one in Houston a few years ago, so the Cubs with a chance to tie it here at least. Nobody out, runner at third. And Marlon Byrd takes a slider off the plate. First triple for Soto since '09. Blake DeWitt is on deck, with Sean Camp up in the Cubs bullpen. DeWitt would hit for Volstad. One and one.
Well, and give a lot of credit to Giovanni Soto. It'd be very easy to hit a pop-up into center field. In the big leagues, you just assume anything hit in the air right at a defender is going to be an out. Gio didn't take anything for granted. Ran hard to first, ran hard between first and second, and when the ball dropped, he ends up at third base with nobody out.
One and two.
Talked a lot about the fundamentals in spring training, the emphasis on base running. You can clearly see he's frustrated, but take out some of that frustration running the bases. And just that effort that he gave from home to first base allowed him to reach third.
You've said it many times. That's where the triples come from. Home to first. Swing and a miss for out number one. And it will be DeWitt, coming up for the third time as a pinch hitter this season. He was going to start yesterday, but back spasms knocked him out of the lineup. Well, we don't know for sure. This is conjecture, but Chris Volstad, 87 pitches, certainly could go back out for the sixth. But you're down a run. You want to get this guy in. And, Bob, you have a bullpen that hasn't had a lot of work. So if you're going to do it this early, this would be the night to do it. DeWitt couldn't hold up.
Well, this time of year, it's a little more likely to see a move like this early in the ball game, just because you don't want to overextend any of your starting pitchers. You said Chris Volstad has really had to work hard against this Brewers lineup tonight through 5 innings. So you never know which run is going to be the big run in a ball game. Dale Swaim decides to take his shot right here with a guy at third and one out.
Ramirez is even with the bag at third. Gonzalez back at short, in just a couple of steps on the right side. And DeWitt punches that ball in the air out toward right center, and Morgan will make the catch. All the momentum coming toward the plate. Run scores, standing. Soto in 3-3.
I'll tell you, that brisk wind that's been blowing from left to right all night not only affects batted balls, it affects thrown balls. Nyjer Morgan got around that ball just a little bit. It started to tail the instant it left his hand, ended up way up the first baseline, allowing Giovanni Soto to score without a play at home plate. The wind really took that throw.
So a new ball game. Bases cleared, 2 outs. It's going to be a bullpen night the rest of the way for the Cubs, starting with Sean Camp in the 6th. Blooper, and finally DeJesus gets on the board against Sean Markham. 1 for 19 now.
He will definitely take it. It was a middle of the plate fastball, kind of jammed himself that time, but put it in a good spot over the head of Alex Gonzalez in front of Nyjer Morgan and Ryan Braun. Stop the game, give him the ball.
Pickoff attempt.
Like Markham's having some issues seeing Jonathan Lucroy's signs behind home plate. Here we go again. Get some flashcards. Like he doesn't want to throw those pickoff attempts to first base. And I know some pitchers feel like they're quick enough to home plate that they don't need to pay a lot of attention to base runners. Remember former Cub Rick Russell is a member of the Giants. He was like a second flat to home plate. It just seemed ridiculous to even pick off at first base when you're that quick to home plate. And Markham has shaken off and stepped off a couple of times, and now his third pickoff attempt over to first base. Same result as the first two.
DeJesus takes off, a little bit of a delayed steal, and they get him. LaCroix nails him at second. Cubs tie it, however. It's 3-3 after 5.
Presented by Athletico is on Saturday, April 14th. Starting at Clark and Addison, you'll run through the Wrigleyville neighborhood, along the Wrigley Field concourse, and finish under the famous marquee. This year, runners who raise $1,000 or more for Children's Memorial Hospital will run a post-race victory lap around the bases. To register, visit raceToWrigley.com.
Here's Sean Camp. See what he did in his Cubs debut on Saturday. Facing Hart, Gamble, and Gonzalez. And the Milwaukee sixth. 3-3 tie in game one. An important early season matchup in Cincinnati this week. You know, these games count too. If this were late September and the Cardinals and Reds were battling, it would be a huge series. It's 4-1 St. Louis. And the top of the sixth, Jake Westbrook has outdueled Homer Bailey, who's now out of the game. Holiday, Freese, and Molina have all homered for the Cardinals, and all those homers came in the opening inning.
The swinging strike runs the count to 2-2, and so far Sean Camp has not thrown a ball in the strike zone. Number 1 and number 2 identical pitches. One was a ball, one was a strike. But the count even at 2-2, ready to put Hart away right here.
Left center, who wants it? Won't be caught by anybody, but it will be a single for Corey Hart.
That wind pushing the ball away from Soriano continues to blow from left to right. Bird there to back the play up. Unfortunately, Corey Hart just hit it in a spot neither Cub outfielder could get to quickly enough. Darwin Barney thought Hart was going to be trying to get to second base.
Slings it over, Hart back.
We saw Giovanni Soto busting it on the bases on his triple. Corey Hart, he was kind of assuming somebody's going to get under it and catch it, and by the time the ball drops, he takes a big turn at first but realizes he can't make it. Should have been on second base.
Bob, when you're coming around third, you've got a third base coach who's going to tell you what to do. Now, out of the box, you do want the batter to look at where the ball is, but it looked like Corey Hart got caught up looking and not running. Now, you can do both at the same time, but that does happen, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. And when you take a peek at that fly ball off the bat, you have an idea in your mind how long that ball is going to be in the air, when is it going to be near glove level of the outfielders, and when is it likely to be on the ground. Hart leaning just a little bit that time, able to get back. Now, so you see the ball in the air, you see where it's at, you see the outfielder start for it, but then put your head down and run. Leaning once again over there is Corey Hart.
Sweet cheese, Steve Green. Team photographer.
Well, he looks really small looking through this end of the lens. And far away.
Right field, it'll get down for Gamble. Hart's going to score. That ball all the way in the corner. And Matt Gamble will slide in head first with a triple. And the Brewers lead again.
We talked about Gamble's offensive prowess in the minor league system for the Brewers. He actually hits that ball right off the end of the bat. but hooks it into the right field corner. It rattled around down there long enough to allow Corey Hart to circle the bases and score for the Brewers with nobody out in the inning and a runner at third base.
Second career triple for Gamble. Keep him off the board here. What a very binary line score. All zeros and ones to this point, as the Brewers try to put up the first crooked number. Gamble back to third as Stewart will get the out at first.
Well, that's the perfect ground ball for a third baseman. Just going after the ball leads you right to the base, forcing that runner back to the bag. And then an easy toss across for the first out of the inning. If that ball's hit to his left where he has to go over toward the hole, Gamble's going to come down the line as far as Ian Stewart is off the bag at third. But that time, no choice for Gamble but to race back to the bag.
Infield still in. Lucroy fouls. Well, your first impressions of Chris Volstad, 5 innings, 3 runs.
You know, he came as advertised. When the ball was down, he got some ground balls. Showed a nice slider off the outside corner at times. He just appeared tonight like the kind of guy that cannot afford to make a lot of mistakes up over the heart of the plate, which describes a lot of pitchers in the major leagues.
Sean Camps from Fairfax, Virginia, 36 years old, made his major league debut with Kansas City in 2004. 434th career appearance. They've all been in relief in the big leagues. Time with the Rays and the Jays as well. Oh, get off me, baseball. Lucroy just trying to avoid getting hit.
It's a tailing fastball that starts over the inside part of the plate, and you start swinging at it thinking it's a good pitch, and then it continues to run further and further in, and at some point as a hitter you realize I better get a piece of that one or it's going to hit me right in the chest.
Let's take a look at our Ford upcoming Cubs schedule. This is a 4-game series. We're on WGN Wednesday afternoon. We'll wrap up the homestand Thursday and then head off to St. Louis and Miami. Ford, manufacturers of more fuel efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. High pop fly. DeJesus getting behind it. Here comes a throw to the plate. Gamble will score as the ball hits him. And it's 5-3. Second sac fly for the Brewers and the third of the game combined.
Once again, DeJesus in good position, stayed behind the ball. This time the throw is up the third base side just enough that it catches the runner coming by. Giovanni Soto never had a chance at this one.
The beneficiary is the guy at the plate, Sean Markham, now working with a 2-run advantage. All zeros and ones until the 6th. Camp strikes out Markham, but the Brewers get 2 and now lead by a pair.
Appropriate for the first night game here at Wrigley in the 2012 season. Tonight by the Smashing Pumpkins. That's our Bud fan cam. Budweiser, the official beer of the first inning. Great times are on deck. Grab some Buds.
Willie Corrigan, huge Cub fan. Underway in the bottom of the 6th, 5-3 Brewers. Marwin Barney pulls it foul, scattering guys in the home bullpen. Sean Markham 2-0 last year, his first action against the Cubs. Seemed to run out of gas late in the year. Beat the Astros in Houston on September 4th. He had a 3.11 earned run average. He gave up 18 earned runs over his final 4 starts. Had a brutal postseason. It's Barney to fly out. Lost all 3 of his playoff starts. You know what, Bobby went over 200 innings for the first time in his career.
Well, that will definitely take its toll. I mean, I think sometimes we take for granted those inning eaters. I think some people view that as a negative. When you call a pitcher an inning eater, that means, well, yeah, he's out there pitching, but maybe it's not really effective. But Guys that can chew up 200 innings in a regular season are invaluable to a ball club, and guys who are not used to it show the wear and tear after they get close to that mark.
Castro with a career high 14-game hitting streak on the line tonight. He has grounded out twice, also a 43-game on base streak. I will say this, I like what they've done, and they did it because of the extra round or game, the extra first round playoff series, but they took away one day in the division series, and I like that. I think they really need to test rotation depth in the playoffs, something that hasn't always been the case. There are too many off days. I go back to a couple of years ago when Joe Girardi only needed 3 starters the whole postseason. I think you should have to use your 4, if not both your 4 and 5.
And not to mention the fact that, at the end of a regular season, the players are accustomed to playing every day. Now you get to the postseason and, you're taking a couple of days off after every game you play. It's not what players are used to doing, and I agree with you as well. You want to test the depth of a team's roster, not just their 2 or 3 best.
Of course, we say that, and the added round is 1 game. So.
But it's the effect it has on the subsequent series.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Don't miss the action as the Cubs host these Brewers again tomorrow night. Game time 7:05, but come out to the field early. The first 10,000 fans at the game get Cubs ear warmers, compliments of Comcast. For more info or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Pitching matchup. Lefties, Chris Narveson and Paul Maholm, both making their season debuts. For Maholm, it will be his first outing as a Cub.
Be a real challenge as well, Len. I mean, there's no question this Brewers lineup is right-handed heavy. With Ricky Weeks at the top, Ryan Braun, Aramis Ramirez, Corey Hart.
Make his first ever appearance. That's not in a Pirates uniform tomorrow night.
He's kind of a man on an island. The only left-hander in the rotation. One of only 2 left-handers on the entire pitching staff, along with James Russell.
Going back to the outfield drills today. Dave McKay at about 3 o'clock, when the wind and the sun were at their worst for the outfielders, he was putting balls in the machine, and they were high fly balls out to the warning track, and not all of them were caught. And I think the idea is we want it to be more difficult than it will be during the game. As Soriano singles to right, talking to Joe Mather and David DeJesus, they both agreed you got to play here every day to really understand the changing conditions. Billy Williams told DeJesus, you got to check the wind on every pitch, because it changes that much.
And I like the idea of shooting those fly balls probably higher in the air than anybody will ever hit one, because you really do get a much better feel then for how much the wind affects that ball when it goes up into the air. When I track it out of the machine or off the bat and the wind's blowing the direction it is tonight, how far is it likely to carry over toward the gap? And You do enough of that, you practice it often enough, you check those flags often enough, and there's a much better chance you're going to run to the right spot.
Cubs have, as a team, have stolen 4 bases and have been caught twice. Once tonight, David DeJesus. All 4 successful steals belong to Starlin Castro.
Well, even though David DeJesus was caught stealing to end that bottom half of the 5th inning, the way that play developed, it was a lot closer than it really looked. Lucroy, to his credit, was right on top of it. He saw the delayed steal. He threw to second, but Ricky Weeks was on a dead run to second base when he caught the throw. And if that throw is a couple of inches offline either way, Ricky Weeks is not able to make the catch and tag the way he did on David DeJesus. You know, once again, the idea being force the defense to make a perfect play to get you. And that time Weeks was able to catch the throw on the run, apply the tag all in one motion, just in time to get David DeJesus. Delayed steal, and we've talked about this many times in the past, it's more designed to steal off the middle infielders than it is the pitcher and the catcher. And you catch those guys defensively after the ball goes past the hitting area. They look down at their feet. They're cleaning divots out there. They're looking at the outfielders, looking in the stands. If you can catch those middle infielders with their head down, delayed steal is a beautiful play. And you'll see the catcher read it. The 2 middle infielders don't, and that catcher just crow hops further and further and further out into the infield, waiting for somebody to get there to cover the bag at second.
Sean Dolis up for the Cubs. The Brewers pen starting to get busy. Right-hander Jose Veras just starting to throw. 3-2 on Ian Stewart. Soriano will get a head start with 2 down and a full count on the batter. And the wind kind of keeping that ball near the field of play, but it drops in about the second row. And we'll do it again. Again, Markham and Lucroy trying to get on the same page. Lucroy will head out. Well, the Marlins won today, beat the Phillies in Philadelphia's home opener 6-2. The Marlins manager Ozzie Guillen is going to fly home to Miami tomorrow and apologize at their ballpark after telling a magazine that he loves Fidel Castro. That has caused a major stir. We will be there next week, Cubs and the Marlins. Yes, Ozzie talked to Time magazine. And we know he has no filter.
That's for
now
sure.
He's got to deal with it.
That's for sure.
Ready to resume. Stewart hits a high fly ball to left. Ryan Braun will end the inning. We head off to the 7th. It's Milwaukee 5 and the Cubs 3. Been a seesaw battle. Alex Gonzalez scoring on a suicide squeeze by Sean Markham. The Cubs with 2 home runs, their first 2 of the season. Visit your local Chicagoland Honda dealer today and test drive a 2012 Honda Accord. Ricky Weeks with a home run, his 2nd of the year. That was in the 3rd. Well, remember that devastating leg injury he suffered against the Cubs in Milwaukee in late July last year. Missed 39 games. He was trying to stretch it out. Really jammed his foot into the first base bag. A severe left ankle sprain. He was a first-time All-Star last year. And that ball hit very well as Marlon Byrd took a look back and he makes a catch. That is exactly like a fly ball that Dave McKay put in that machine earlier today. Very similar. He didn't have to deal with the sun on this one, at least.
Yeah, Marlon Byrd made this catch around 8:12 in the evening, but actually made the catch earlier this afternoon, working on exactly that play, as you said, minus the sun. Well, that ball carried a long way and ended up a lot further over toward right center than I thought it was going to when it left the bat.
Mentioned Morgan being a big part of their success last year. He got them into the NLCS with a game-ending RBI single in the 10th inning of Game 5 of the division series against Arizona. And a base hit, his 2nd of the evening.
Want to see a Cubs game from the front row at Wrigley Field? Well, now you can. Visit Cubs.com and click on the CBOE front row seats auction to bid on tickets in the front row behind home plate and along the first base line. Front row seats will be auctioned off to every game all season long, so don't miss your chance. Go to Cubs.com and check out the CBOE front row seats auction today.
Braun has doubled, walked, stolen a base, and struck out looking. And Sean Camp with a very good move.
He's got some really quick feet, and even on his delivery to home plate, it's a little bit of a short arm, low 3/4 delivery, which lends itself really well to that quick pickoff move to first base.
Veras is up yet again. Guessing Sean Markham is done for the night. 89 pitches. And we'll have at least a 2-run lead after this top of the 7th. There's lefty James Russell. Looking ahead to potential matchup with Matt Gamble. Drilled in the left for a base hit. Back-to-back 1-out singles. Here comes Ramirez for the 4th time. 0 for 2 officially with a sacrifice fly in the first inning. Here comes Chris Bosio.
And I don't know if you noticed when we had a close-up of Ryan Braun's face there as he got to first base, he was yelling to get Niger Morgan's attention at second base and then kind of nodded over toward third base coach Ed Cedar. I'm not sure if anything is going on, but when I see something like that, it's a red flag. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sean Camp use that inside move to second base on the first pitch just to make sure they're not trying to pull a double steal here. Niger. Kind of motions over toward the third base coach.
That's a good catch. Garth Orridge at first, and the aforementioned Ed Cedar coaching over third. Yeah, there's that inside move. You nailed it, partner. So Morgan is out.
Well, as our 7th inning guest will tell you, after he gets done singing, there's nothing else to do as a catcher. You know, when the play's over, you're standing back there behind home plate. If you keep your head up and watch what's going on the field, sometimes on rare occasions you can pick something like that up. Well, that's a rally killer right there for the Brewers. Hopefully retire Aramis Ramirez right here.
I love how you watch the game. I try to watch the game the way you do. I can't do it. That's why you're in the booth.
Well, I'll tell you who watches a game better than anybody else is our camera crew. They pick up stuff like that. You know, it'll be easy just to find the closest pretty girl in the stands.
Soriano is going to have to chase that one down as Aramis is going to pick up his 2nd RBI. On his way to second, he will get there standing, and it's 6-3.
Way too good a pitch with a base open and an overly aggressive hitter at the plate. Some kind of an off-speed pitch that just fluttered up there on the inside part, and Ramirez perfectly splits that gap in left center field to drive home another Brewer.
So Ramirez with 4 RBIs on the season. Down the right field line, and the wind will push it foul. Milwaukee now with 10 hits, including 3 this inning. Crowd tonight 38,136. Camp now ready for the 1-2 pitch, and he got him. Stretch time with Randy Hundley.
Conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, former Cubs great Randy Hundley.
All right, fans, let me hear you. A 1, a 2, a 3. Me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. Sports one. Out at the old ball game. Hey, let's get some runs.
Talking about the prom here in early April. Carlos Gomez comes into play center as Morgan will move to right. Corey Hart is out. He made the final out of the top of the inning. Jose Barris will go into his spot, and former Cub great Randy Hundley in the booth with us after another fine rendition of the 7th inning stretch. You said it never gets easier, but
I'm telling you what's the truth. Man, I've been scared for 2 weeks.
Well, I thought you pulled it off admirably.
Yeah. You're kind, I'll tell you. You guys doing okay?
Yeah, we're doing fine, Randy. You know, you're just kind of starting to get into the routine of the season.
Yeah, I know, man. It's a long one to go yet.
Bob mentioned opening day is kind of its own animal as that's slicing away from Braun, and it'll drop down for Brian LaHare, who has 2 hits.
Boy, he crushed that home run, didn't he?
Didn't he, though?
Man, I was glad to see that ball travel as far as it did. Of course, I think the wind was blowing that way a little bit, but even so, he absolutely crunched it.
And it is our Nissan drive of the game. Get to a Nissan dealer for great deals on innovation you could count on Innovation for all.
Well, I'll tell you something else, too. That was a great 3-2 pitch to hit, wasn't it?
Oh.
It was right down Broadway.
And with the wind blowing out toward right tonight, it was a good combo for the left-handed hitter.
It sure was. And he took advantage of it. You got to give him credit.
I was just saying, you go back to your playing days, you get opening day with all the pomp and circumstance, and you have an off day built in because of rain. And now you kind of get into that stretch where you play for 10 days or so without an off day. That's the season.
Yep, it is starting for them right now. They are shucks, they're like in mid-season right now because they've got to play hard. It's a little difficult getting situated when with your family and moving into a place and whatnot. But once you do that, then it's time to really go at work.
3-0 on Soto with Marlon Byrd on deck.
Did you let him hit?
No.
Ball 4. Tying run will come to the plate.
Randy, talking about the beginning of the season, getting moved into a new house or a new apartment, getting your family in town, whatever. That's why I always felt it was a huge benefit to a veteran player. If you live in the city you play in.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about moving in, moving out, and paying deposits and finding a new babysitter or somebody to walk your dog or whatever the case may be. This is your home.
I agree with you 100%. And it was one of the reasons that I made Chicago my home. I didn't have to deal with that too much. And I enjoyed just going and playing baseball.
And at the end of the season, you don't have to worry about packing everything up and shipping it home.
No, I just pack it up and go to Arizona and play golf.
Right. 2 on, nobody out. Cubs trail by 3, and Marlon Byrd takes a strike. You played every day. How did you get your rest?
I don't know. Sometimes I just went home and went to bed, and then I would get up and eat later on. Of course, we didn't have lights back then, and played all day games here in Chicago, and it was pretty hot, and I'd lose a lot of weight.
Gomez will make the catch for out number 1. In some ways, the guys like night games certainly every once in a while to catch up on your sleep, but you had a consistent, you're going to play in the day. And then when you were on the road, that's when you caught up on your sleep, right?
Exactly. And I didn't particularly like night games myself. I love playing day games. You could see the ball, you could see the spin on the ball a lot better as a hitter. And I love playing day games, even on the road. But when you would play a 10-game homestand and then you go on the road and play under the lights, you talked about a tough time picking up the ball the first couple of days. It was very difficult.
We noticed, Randy, let's say you play a Thursday 120 game here against Milwaukee, and then you go to San Diego and you play Friday night. It feels like that day is 2 full days. Yeah. You're like, let's play.
Yeah, I know.
And it's 4 o'clock. You go, we got 3 hours.
Yep, I know.
That's almost tougher, is wait and wait and wait for those West Coast games.
Well, one time we had a West Coast trip, and we had a Friday afternoon game, Saturday off, Sunday day game. And I was waiting for this pitch, but we all went out to dinner on Friday night, and I'm telling you, it was like 5 days before we could play again, and the worst feeling in the world. But we had a lot of fun on that Friday night.
We're off day on a Saturday.
Yep.
Reed Johnson, the pinch hitter, into shallow left, and Ryan Braun will get there for the second out. Well, nowadays the chartering makes a big difference too. Yes. Being able to get on your own plane, knowing that when the game ends, you drive to the airport, you go.
Yep, I would think so. I mean, I didn't know that they charted all of the flights, but you know, we when I was playing, we charted, I'd say 95% of our flights, and so that does help a lot.
And DeJesus with 2 outs.
And when you played, they still scheduled doubleheaders from time to time too, didn't they? I mean,
oh yeah.
I mean, I know you'd catch the doubleheader after a rain out or something, but there were actual doubleheaders on the schedule.
Yes, we would plan for those doubleheaders that we'd have on the schedule, and sometimes they were tough to play, man. I remember once we had one in doubleheader in St. Louis, and I caught the first game, and every inning I'm laying down in the runway there. Leo looked at me after the first game. He says, "How you feel?" I said, "Well, Skip, look at me. How do you think I feel?"
Called strike 0-2.
I said, "I'll go play. If you want me to play, you see the way I am, I will go play and give you all I've got. But, you know, don't expect a whole lot out of me at this point in time."
See, Randy, you were an everyday catcher. You knew you were going to play every day. But for a guy like me, I used to love those doubleheaders because I knew I was going to catch one of them. I knew I was going to get at least 4 at-bats somewhere.
Well, I knew on the doubleheader I was going to play probably 2 games that day. And you know what? I loved it. When you're young like that, you can do it and think nothing of it. If I were to try something like that today, holy cow. Get the blooming casket ready because it would kill me.
1-2 pitch outside on DeJesus. The weather has cooperated on this homestand. We've got a lot of blue skies above. Can handle the cold, but you just don't want it damp in April.
I know it, and I tell you what, that wind was really strong today. I mean, even coming in the ballpark, I thought it was going to blow me over.
Two coming up to DeJesus. Swing and a miss. He got him. Randy Hundley, always a pleasure. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you, guys. Great seeing you.
Good to see you, Randy.
Tomorrow versus the Knicks. Bulls look for some revenge. Tune in at 8 for the Bullseye, followed by the tip. All the action at 8:30 on WGN. Partner, we've got a Major League debut alert.
Okay.
As Rule 5 pick. And now 23-year-old right-hander. In fact, his birthday was yesterday. Lendy Castillo. Cubs got him in December in that Rule 5 from the Philadelphia Phillies.
Castillo a little bit in spring training. Under those circumstances, showed a real live arm, good moving fastball. Breaking ball was a little inconsistent at times. You just hope he can keep his emotions in check here. He definitely has a major league arm.
Converted infielder. He's only been on the mound since 2010, and his first pitch ends up a base hit for Matt Gamble. Leadoff single. This is where you don't want to be. That is behind this Milwaukee team late, because they've got a guy who set the all-time single season save record. Francisco Rodriguez as the setup guy for John Axford. Rough outing for Sean Camp, who gave up 5 hits and 3 runs, just like Chris Volstad did, but on only 2 innings. Volstad went 5. Two and 0 on Gonzalez. But if you're Gio, I mean, what are you saying to a youngster making his big league debut here?
You just try to find the words to impress upon the young man that you've done this before. It's no different than what you did in the Cactus League. It's no different than what you did in the minor leagues last year. Just take a deep breath and relax. Try to block out the hitter completely and just throw the pitch to wherever I put the glove. Take a look behind you. You got some of the best defenders in the major leagues behind you. Throw that ball over the plate with a little bit of movement. Keep it down. We'll make some plays.
Gamble got a great jump. Gio dropped the ball, but he had no shot. What is your little cheat sheet note when a catcher doesn't have a prayer?
That's the strategic drop right there.
No, but I mean when you know he doesn't have a shot, where the runner steals a base.
It's an NC.
NC.
No chance.
No chance. There you go.
I thought you were talking about
the strategic drop.
The strategic
Tell me about
drop.
that.
Well, a veteran catcher taught me that very early on in my career. A situation like that where the pitcher's not paying any attention to the runner and he takes a big old leg kick and the runner's into his slide at second base before you even get the ball. Just drop it, you know. Let's have it fly out of your hand, hit the glove, land on the ground. The guy's going to get a stolen base anyway. Why risk a bad throw? Wing it out into center field. Now the guy's on third. The strategic drop.
It's kind of the defensive equivalent of if you think you're going to hit into a double play strikeout.
That's the kind of team I played on early in my career. I learned stuff like that.
Gamble now at third with 1 out. So here's Lucroy, and the infield will have to come in. This is not unprecedented, but you know it bears repeating. Lendy Castillo jumped on the mound 2 years ago, and here he is in the big leagues. Last year he pitched at A ball. And here he is at Wrigley Field. And he just hit Lucroy.
everything's just moving a little too quickly right now for Lendy Castillo. Just needs to kind of slow things down. Giovanni Soto with another visit to the mound, joined by Starlin Castro. Trying to throw that ball 600 miles per hour. Catches Lucroy right on the back of that left arm. That couldn't have felt too good.
He's a catcher.
Yeah.
Comes Carlos Gomez for the first time. Hey, Anthony Rizzo, we mentioned he homered yesterday for Iowa. Well, he has 2 tonight. Bunted by Gomez. Better hurry. They got him. He's one of the fastest guys in baseball. He'll get a sacrifice and an RBI as Gamble scores.
Perfectly executed safety squeeze this time. Gomez's primary concern right there was just moving the runner from first to second base. And as you said, with his speed, he's trying to leg that out for an infield hit, but ends up getting an RBI on the safety squeeze.
James Russell will replace Castillo. 7-3 Milwaukee in the 8th. We'll be back. Android and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at BAT to 31826 or visit Cubs.com for details.
Unusual move that you don't see very often, bringing in a lefty to face Ricky Weeks, but James Russell with a lot more experience than Lendy Castillo. Dale Swaim a little more confident that Russell will execute the proper pitches to hopefully get Weeks out here and end this inning. Only one previous at bat for Ricky Weeks against James Russell. It's a base hit.
Weeks fouls it off. Another final from earlier today. The Angels beat the Twins 5-1 in Minnesota's home opener. The Twins are now 0-4 to start the year. C.J. Wilson over Nick Blackburn. That was Wilson's Angels debut. Looking forward to seeing Target Field for the first time, as we'll head there in June. Called strike, 1-2. The Red Sox in danger of starting 0-4. They trail at Toronto 2-1 in the bottom of the 7th. Dustin Pedroia with his first homer. The 0-3 Yankees lead the 3-0 Orioles 6-2 in the bottom of the 8th in Baltimore. Weird line for Ivan Nova. 7 innings, 10 hits, 2 runs. No walks, 7 strikeouts.
Mixed in a couple of double play balls there somewhere. Hold the scoring down that much, giving up 10 hits.
Got 2 of them, yep. Called strike 3, and the inning is over. But they keep adding on to their lead. It's now 7-3. Wednesday afternoon, game 3 of this series. Opening day starters Giovanni Gallardo and Ryan Dempster will match up. The leadoff man at 1, first pitch at 1:20. Dempster was excellent in the opener. Gallardo was not. And here's K-Rod. Major League record 62 saves for the Angels in 2008, but his job now is to get the ball in the hands of John Axford with a lead in the 9th.
He did a nice job in his new role with the Brewers as a setup man last year after saving 23 games for the Mets early in the season. Came over to the Brewers, did not save a game, but went 4-0 with an ERA of 1.86. Really good straight changeup for Francisco Rodriguez.
Francisco. That's fun to say. That's for all the Elf fans. Two and one. Sean Markham was pretty good tonight. Barney fouls that one right at the plate. Rodriguez used to have a devastating slider. He's replaced that with a curveball. That was a fastball at 90. Well, he's all arms and legs.
Speaking of all arms and legs, there's their closer, John Axford.
And all mustaches.
Yeah. Just see that guy coming through the swinging doors of a saloon somewhere. Give me a sarsaparilla. Lucroy trying to influence Adrian Johnson, the home plate umpire, that was a fair ball, but after it hit the ground, it came up and hit Darwin Barney before going into fair territory. It was worth a shot.
And ball four. You know, I got to ask you, partner, I'm a little late in bringing this up, but you might be able to get into the competition for 2012. But John Axford was the 2011 winner of the Robert Goulet Memorial Mustached American of the Year in voting conducted by the American Mustache Institute. He got the award here in Chicago in October. But he's actually Canadian. So he's the Mustached American of the Year. Well, they didn't let that get in the way as Castro pops up. Long run in for Gomez, who makes the catch. Castro now 0 for 4. I guess if they made it the North American of the Year, that would be a little bit better. And the loophole created Axford the opportunity to win. And I guess Robert Goulet's parents were French Canadian, so no big deal. But I really think, especially because they give the award out here in Chicago,
yeah,
that you should get in on that this year.
Well, and I actually, gave the AMI some pub last year.
Yes,
talking
you did.
about some of their awards and what have you. And get nominated.
We'll have to look into the nomination process. So Castro's 14-game hitting streak, 43-game on-base streak might come to an end unless the Cubs can rally here. They'll try to turn a strange-looking double play, and they do. They had the shift on, but they were able to figure it out. And that ends the inning.
You can see Weeks started after that ball from his position up the middle of the field, but when he realized Gonzalez was going to get there in better shape, he retreated back to the bag at second. Kind of an odd angle, but able to turn it over nonetheless.
James Russell continues here in the ninth. Your wish is our command. Happy birthday. Morgan's 2 for 4. With Manny Parra. Jesus makes a grab for out number 1. Ryan Braun with 2 hits, a walk and a stolen base. He has scored a run. See a note here, Bob, that Drew Storen is going to visit Dr. Andrews.
Ooh, that's never good.
Sim game yesterday and felt some tenderness. It would be bad news for the Nationals, even though they have a pretty deep bullpen, as we saw this weekend.
Nothing against Dr. James Andrews. He's one of the best in the world. But when you hear that news as an organization, there's a lot more wrong with somebody than your training staff can handle in-house. Tell you, the guys were still talking about Henry Rodriguez, the setup man for the Nationals, who was throwing 94-mile-per-hour changeups the other day.
Just ridiculous stuff. And Ryan Braun strikes out.
Braun had been 2 for 4 lifetime against James Russell, but Russell wins this matchup, just rears back and blows a fastball by him down around the knees.
Well, Yu Darvish in his stateside debut gave up 4 in the first, 1 in the second, but it's nice to pitch for the Texas Rangers because they've scored 8. Lead the Mariners 8-5 in the bottom of the 5th. So even if Darvish doesn't continue, he still could get the win.
It's also nice to be in the American League, because in the National League, chances are he'd have been out of that game in the first inning.
Their number 9 hitter, Mitch Moreland, with a home run tonight. The aforementioned Nationals are locked into a 3-3 tie with the Mets in the 8th. Two more hits for Adam LaRoche. What a big weekend here. Ball 4 to Aramis. Former Cub Cesar Izturis, switch hitter, is going to bat in the pitcher's spot. So it will be Manny Parra in the bottom of the ninth.
We were talking briefly before the ball game today, wondering what had happened to Manny Parra. Back-to-back double-digit victory seasons in 08 and 09 for the Brewers. Just kind of fell off the face of the earth.
Barney is out. He'll make the catch. And that'll get us to the bottom of the ninth. It's 7-3 Milwaukee. Of a good time. Here we go. Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. The Illinois Lottery. Do you believe in the power of possibility? The Illinois Lottery. Anything's possible. And by Ford, manufacturers of more fuel-efficient vehicles than any other brand. Check them out at your local Ford store or online at localfordstores.com. Chilly night here at Wrigley Field. Wind still blowing from left to right. I've seen some home runs tonight. The Brewers pulling away in the middle to late innings, leading by 4 here in the bottom of the ninth. Manny Parra against Ian Stewart. Fastball outside corner.
Parra missed the entire season last year on the disabled list. Had a back injury that landed him on the disabled list, and pitched 8 rehab games, and during the course of his rehab he sprained his left elbow, had surgery in August, missed the entire year.
So I guess really the answer to your question, he's been banged up. Shoulder surgery in 09, hip surgery in 2010. You mentioned back and elbow last year. Here's his 1-2 downstairs. Tim Dillard just in case. Cardinals won again, 7-1 at Cincinnati to improve to 4-1 on the season. Jake Westbrook over Homer Bailey. Cubs will be the opponent Friday afternoon for the Cardinals home opener. Deep to left, Ian Stewart off the warning track, and he is going to slide in with a double.
Good battling at bat that time by Ian Stewart against the lefty. Finally gets a fastball up and out over the plate. I thought with that wind that continues to blow from left to right and the English that figured to be on that drive that it might get knocked down a little bit, but it actually just shot over the head of Ryan Braun all the way to the vines for a leadoff double.
By the way, we will have Friday's game in St. Louis right here on WGN, 2 o'clock Central from Busch Stadium. Topped off the plate, Gamble to Parra to get LaHare. Comes Ron Renicky. Now Axford is up along with Dillard. You see that motion would indicate it's Dillard.
Yeah, well, I would assume so. Yeah.
So we'll be back in the ninth. 7-3 Brewers. The son of former Cub infielder Steve Dillard.
Rough start this season for Tim Dillard so far. In his previous 2 appearances, he did a nice job for the Brewers out of the bullpen. Good matchup right-hander with that sidearm delivery.
His 42nd Major League appearance. Runner at third with 1 out. Soto's job's not to knock in Stewart. His job's to get on base. Things change in the ninth. When you add up the math, you're down 4 runs. You don't need 1. You need a bunch.
Len, I think there's only been a couple of hitters in the Cubs lineup today that the Brewers did not play an exaggerated shift against. I think for David DeJesus and Darwin Barney, they played what you would call traditional defensive positions, and maybe Marlon Byrd also, but everybody else, they've swung that middle infielder onto the other side of the infield, depending on whether it was a right-handed hitter or a left-handed hitter.
Well, I like this shift against a right-handed pull hitter. You just don't see a lot of teams do it. Teams do it against lefties, but not righties. But why not?
We're seeing more and more elements of quote-unquote small ball coming back into the game. And bunting for a base hit may be the last thing to come back. That's one thing when you overshift the way the Brewers are right now for Giovanni Soto. If he could push a hard bunt to the right side of the field, pretty good chance of getting a base hit. We've seen some left-handed pull hitters, Carlos Pena most notably last year for the Cubs, bunt for base hits against the exaggerated shift, sometimes with 2 strikes on it. And if the home run numbers are going to continue to dwindle and teams are going to have to find a way to manufacture runs, maybe the bunt will come back.
Inside, ball 4. That's a good at bat. Good game for Soto at the plate with a triple and 2 walks. Well, it is a safe spot. The tying run is now on deck, and it will be John Axford. So the closer coming on when we come back. Last year, a Brewers record, and was the National League Roll Age Relief Man of the Year, in addition to the Robert Goulet Memorial Mustache American of the Year.
Both trophies on his mantle.
Marlon Byrd at the plate. Steve Clevenger has a bat in the on-deck circle. First and third. And a tapper foul.
Marlon Byrd has actually had a measure of success against the Brewers closer. He's 3 for 4 lifetime and has also drawn a walk. Fastball, curveball, slider combination from John Axford.
Well, that's a pitch both guys really wanted, and the pitcher, not the batter, got it. That's a big swing pitch. 1-2.
That's that one that catches the edge of the black at the bottom of the knees. Watch this one on our pitch tracks from Xfinity. That's almost an unhittable strike right there.
Bob, you always used to have fun with Hunter Pence. Say from the knees down, pretty similar look there from John Axford.
A little bit. Rustler stole his calves too.
Right field, Morgan over. No play. Right on the ledge.
That's a great thing about the game of baseball. It doesn't matter whether you've got sticks for calves or cankles. It makes no difference. If you can play this game, you can catch it and throw it and hit it. It doesn't really matter what your body type is. We've seen all kinds have success in this game.
Be the longest half inning ever. With 4 batters now, including Bird. Brewers are going to hold. 3-2. It's because Axford's a third Brewer pitcher. Hara faced 2 guys, Dillard 1, and now the closer's on.
Steve Clevenger's exhausted, swinging the lead bat in the on-deck circle.
There it is. Ground ball to third. Ramos boots it. Everybody's safe. The door is open. 7-4. Bird will get an RBI. Ramirez was thinking about 2. Instead, they get none.
Just one step to his right. Looked like he was in front of the ball in good shape. Just hit off the heel of his glove into foul territory. Cubs will definitely take it.
Here's Clevenger. Called a great game yesterday. Give Jeff Samardzija all the credit, but he gave his catcher a ton of it.
They had worked together a lot in Daytona in A-ball. Very familiar with each other. And the stuff that Jeff Samardzija had on the mound yesterday, it makes a catcher feel smart. And you got a guy throwing the way Jeff was yesterday.
Tying run at the plate here in the 9th. 0-2.
And a little bit we've seen of Steve Clevenger at the end of the season last year, briefly, again in spring training this year, and his start yesterday catching Jeff Samardzija. These are the situations where he usually looks to go to the opposite field, shortens up his swing a little bit, Just tries to hit something out there toward left center, left field, or toward the left field line.
And he held, according to Field and Culbreth.
Whistles that fastball right underneath the hands of Steve Clevenger, off the plate, up and in. Usually that sets up something away.
Gomez will not make the catch. Soto's going to score. Bird on his way to third. And now the tying runs are in scoring position with only one out.
Clevenger fights that fastball off. Little floater out there into shallow center field. Gomez tries to trap it in front of him, but when he's unable to catch up with it, Pat Listash has got that right arm windmilling Giovanni Soto on home. The Cubs have it cooking here a little bit.
Second and third, one out, and it's DeJesus. Another error, single and an RBI for Clevenger, but the error on Gomez allows a tying run to get to second. And DeJesus fouls it into the second deck. First time Axford and DeJesus have matched up. The 0-1 inside and low. Strike and a breaking ball. 1-2. Darwin Barney on deck. Will hold.
Unfortunately, real nice job by Jonathan Lucroy on a couple of breaking balls that found their way into that dirt around home plate. About how solid he is behind the plate earlier in the ball game. That's his textbook right there. Just trickles a couple of feet to his left. Nothing the runner at third base can do.
Started this inning down 4, and now they're down 2. And DeJesus strikes out, 2 away. And it's up to Darwin Barney.
Axford with the confidence to come right back with another breaking ball, given the fact his catcher was blocking up everything, and that time they got the check swing from DeJesus. Definitely went too far.
And now Jeff Samardzija will pinch run for Steve Clevenger.
Dale Swain A couple of position players available off the bench in Jeff Baker and Joe Mather, but Darwin Barney would happen to get a base hit right here and tie this game up. You want to make sure you still have some weapons left available.
Barney is 0 for 3 against Axford. The game tonight, a homer and a walk. 2-0. Castro on deck. What did we say in the 8th? His streaks might come to an end unless the Cubs can rally. Well, they've done that here in the 9th. Superfan Matt Garza cheering on his teammates.
Well, this particular alignment may have come from the Brewers bench, but Aramis Ramirez is playing even with the base down there at third with Darwin Barney at the plate. 2 outs in the 9th inning and the tying run on at second base. I don't know why he's not playing with his heels on the outfield grass right now.
In other words, even a bunt, I mean, it's only 1 run. You want to guard against a base hit to the outfield.
And plus, Aramis played with Darwin Barney last year. I don't recall ever seeing Darwin trying to bunt for a base hit. Take advantage. Shoot one past him into left field here and tie this thing up.
Three and 1. Well, you'd love to get to that guy. He's due after an 0 for 4 start tonight.
This is a proverbial 1 pitch, 1 zone. Otherwise taken.
Ball 4. Pitching coach Rick Kranitz, former longtime member of the Cubs organization, will head out. A double, a walk, a very big error by Aramis Ramirez. Single, another error on Carlos Gomez. Later a walk. All of a sudden the Cubs have the bases loaded, 2 outs, down only 2 here in the 9th. Castro 2 for 3 against Axford. Well, here we go. Swing and a miss. A
little harder breaking ball that time from Axford. Not quite as much break, but he's able to keep it at the bottom part of the strike zone right there for a called strike.
Strike 3 on a fastball. And the ball game is over. Well, the Cubs put Axford up against the ropes, but he was able to get out of it. You'll rarely see Starlin Castro take a fastball for a called strike 3.
You rarely see him take a called strike, period, but especially with the game on the line and a very hittable fastball right there on the 0-2 count, just locked him up.
So Axford gets the save. Cubs didn't make it easy on him. The final score, Milwaukee 7, the Cubs 5.